Let's do some more crafting for Christmas. This is a part of the Just Our Imagination Challenge playlist. That's hosted by Kathy Jo DIY, Rustic and Lace DIY, and this month the co-host is me. As usual, we have 3 challenge items we must use. This time it's a wire basket, a clipboard, and a poop scoop, or litter scoop. Y'all, I co-hosted this challenge one other time and my challenge item wasn't very challenging. And I thought if I ever get to co-host again, I'm gonna pick a more challenging challenge item. So now it's happened and I chickened out. But Brenda really made up for it with that litter scoop. So let's see what I came up with. For this one, I'm taking this wire basket from the Dollar Tree, some of this red ribbon that I believe I got it from Hobby Lobby, and this black ribbon that I got from I don't know where. I'm going to combine the 2 ribbons and glue them together. I've got this metal piece off of an old purse and some floral wire from Dollar Tree. I'm wrapping the floral wire around the metal piece here. I'm trying to give something to secure the ribbon and make it act like a belt buckle. To attach the ribbon to the basket, I'm simply going to take some more of the black ribbon and on the inside glue the 2 ribbons together, sandwiching that wire in between them. I've seen people make Santa baskets before by painting the basket red and then trimming it out, making it look sort of like Santa's jacket. And this one is a little more muted, I guess you would say. It just sort of gives a nod to Santa and it has a nicer look, I feel. To trim out the top, I'm using this chunky yarn I got from Walmart. And I'm going to glue it to the top rim here, alternating between using E6000 and hot glue. This would be great to use to put a Christmas gift in, and I think it would look even better if you used red tissue paper. I thought I had some and was going to take a picture, but I could not find it. For this one, I have this thrifted clipboard here. I know the last time I checked that Walmart sells this style as well. I'm going to paint the metal with some truffle chalk paint. I'm going to be taping off part of the clipboard and painting the bottom part of it. I'm giving it a few coats of this English Ivy acrylic paint by AppleBarrel. I have these self-adhesive half beads and I'm going to give a few rows a coat of the truffle chalk paint. Once the metal on the clipboard dried, I went ahead and gave it a coat of gold leaf rub and buff. And I gave a coat of the English Ivy green to the half beads once that truffle dried. To make sure that the half beads are stuck on there really good, you could add a different adhesive, maybe some super glue gel, but these were a fairly good brand of these half beads and they were stuck on there pretty well. This will be a printable in the description box if you're interested. I printed off this verse of the day and I'm going to use this crafting glue stick here to adhere this to the bottom of the clipboard. After I had made this, I realized that some people would probably rather do a verse of the week. And if I would have thought about it in time, I would have made that option in the printable, but this is just an idea. And if you made this for a gift, you could print or handwrite some verses for them to include with it. They do also sell verse cards online. The size of the card I used is 5x7, but 4x6 would work nicely as well. And of course, you might want to use colors that you know that the person you're gifting this to would like, or colors that would match their home. And most clipboards, like this one, have the ability to hang them up on the wall. They have a little loop there for you to be able to hang them up. This is just a quick reminder that if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. That way you don't miss any future videos. Okay, I got this poop scoop from the Dollar Tree. I'm cutting off this bottom section as well as the handle. If you use a really big pair of scissors, it actually cuts very nicely. This is what us crafters are for. We try out things that you would never try out, like using a poop scoop for a craft. We try it so you don't have to see if it actually works out or if it's something someone would want to do. And we find out, if you ever asked yourself, could I cut up a poop scoop with some scissors? The answer is yes. We find these things out for you. Covered it in masking tape just to try to hide that grid pattern in the scooper. And then I'm going to go over that with strips of paper and some watered down school glue. I have these mini mice ornaments from Walmart and I got them this year. There was something off about the stitching on their mouths, and so I removed most of that, leaving just a little smile on his face. I took off his hat, just cutting it away, and it didn't matter if I messed up his head just a little bit because I was going to make a new hat to cover his head up. I didn't use a template or anything for the hat. I just wrestled with some fabric and hot glue for a while until I got what I liked. I got this green ticking stripe fabric ages ago from walmart.com. I tied off the hat with some thin-ish twine and I cut up the top of it to make sort of a pom-pom on the top of his hat. I'm making him a little table out of a thread spool and some craft sticks. I took a thin piece of cardboard and I am gluing the craft sticks to the cardboard and then going to cut those out in a circle. I stained the top of the table with some antique wax and just attached the tabletop to the thread spool with some hot glue. I used a combination of hot glue and wood glue to attach this really large craft stick that I got from Walmart to the bottom of this poop scoop here, and I'm going to be making him a floor with this. This was originally going to be an ornament, and I think it would work fine as an ornament, but I'm going to be using it as a shelf sitter. It would be a fairly large ornament, but I think it would work especially if you had a larger Christmas tree. The main part of the poop scoop was arched, and so I was just thinking of different things that are arched, and I just saw a mouse hole when I looked at it. I'm cutting these large craft sticks. I like to use my miter shears to sort of score where I'm going to cut, and I feel like that cuts down on some of the splitting of the craft stick. For the trim pieces, I used some long skinny craft sticks. I think they also call them wooden coffee stirrers. I stained the floor and the trim with the Waverly Antique Wax. This tiny cup here, I have a mixture that I mixed up for my last video, and it is a mixture of ivory chalk paint, Mod Podge, spackling, and baking soda. So it's an odd mixture, but I had a lot left, and I thought this would make a great texture on the inside of this room here. I have this small bottle brush tree from the Dollar Tree out of a multi-pack, and I have this little dowel cap. I'm going to give the dowel cap a coat of antique wax. Once that sort of plaster mixture set up, I went over it with a coat of ivory chalk paint because it had plenty of texture, and to be honest, that mixture was not the easiest to spread. I have this little thimble here, and I'm going to be using it as his seat, and I poked a hole in it, and you'll see why here soon. I'm not crazy about bottled brush trees, so I'm going to cover this one in some moss by just simply hot gluing the moss inside the branches there and trimming away with scissors the excess. I have some of these little blocks from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use them as presents. I ended up not using this color. I painted one red and white as well, and I used them in this project instead. Using a nail and a pencil, I made a hole in the back of the room, which was easy to do because of those slots in that poop scoop. And so it went right between, that grid there. And so I'm going to be using that hole to send the lights through for the tree. I got these lights from the Dollar Tree, and they were a little bit too long, so I just cut them in half. And I hot glued the battery pack to the back of the little mouse hole here, And I thought about turning this battery pack into a flower box, and you could do that if you wanted it to look very finished on the back, but I was running out of time, and so I might go back and do that later. I asked y'all last time if you were ready to move on from Christmas or if you wanted more Christmas, and y'all spoke loud and clear. And this video is definitely geared toward Christmas for sure, but it is having a little bit of an identity crisis. It has a couple of gift ideas, a gift wrap idea, an ornament idea. It's a little all over the place, but I think you'll like these ideas. I have this flat bead. I keep scrap jewelry pieces for crafting, and I'm going to give it a coat of truffle chalk paint as a base coat. That's going to be his little plate. I have these amber beads, plastic beads, and plastic pearls here, and they're going to act as the ornaments on the tree. I got a set of these little bottles from the Dollar Tree, and this cork was the perfect size and shape for a coffee cup. And I'm just giving it a couple of coats of this chestnut. I believe it's chestnut acrylic paint. I think this little mouse was supposed to be an elf, and I don't know why he's holding leaves, but he's holding 2 green leaves. It's hard to tell in the video. So I'm just cutting those away. I'm using some E6000, and later I even went back and put some hot glue in there once that's set up. And I'm going to fix this nail sticking up out of this seat, and that's going to hold the mouse in place. I gave this thin cardboard a coat of hazelnut on both sides in just one section, and then I'm taking a marker and making some little chocolate chips, some little dots on this cardboard here. I used pewter gray to go over that plate. I used a piece of an earring for the handle for the coffee cup, and I used, let's see, what color is that? I used a brown on the top to represent the hot chocolate, nutmeg brown, that was the color. But there wasn't a huge difference between the chestnut and the nutmeg brown, so, I mean, you could just use any brown. His little arms and legs were bendable, and so that worked out great. I'm going to have him sitting here on this little thimble on his little seat. We don't have to watch that part. And we'll just pretend that that nail isn't even there. To give the coffee cup a shine, I went over with some gloss Mod Podge, and I used a hole punch to punch out the little chocolate chip cookies. The table and the tree are going to be permanently attached in here. The little mouse will be removable, as well as the presents. For marshmallows, I just cut up the stick part on a Q-tip. Because of that grid where it's not solid plastic, on the top there it would be very easy to poke a hole and to send an ornament hanger through there and make this into an ornament. And if you did that, you would want to glue down the presents and glue the mouse down as well, so he wouldn't fall out while he's hanging on the tree. And I think if you were fixing to go to an ornament exchange, this would be a very unique ornament to make and give as a gift. I do go back a little bit later and fix his arm positioning. He's got his elbows a little unnecessarily high. And at this point, I didn't realize how silly it looked, but later on I fixed that and pushed his elbows down. The room needed just a little something else, and so I thought, what painting would a mouse have in his home? And I found this cheese painting from the 17th century online. If you search 17th century cheese painting, this one will probably pop up because I don't think there's that many. And I just cut up a craft stick to make a rough frame for it. I did stain the little frame in some antique wax, and I didn't show this part, but I did go back with a tiny paintbrush and stain the edges of that paper as well, so it wasn't so stark white along the edges. Okay, this last one's very quick. This is the longest video I've made in a while. I have these frosted pretzels from Walmart, and they are shaped like little snowflakes. Some of them look more like snowflakes than others, but I have this jar here from the Dollar Tree. Took this red velvet ribbon. You could use any fabric to make a scarf for this jar. Scarf would look much better with some fringe on the end, but I was pressed for time, so I left the fringe off, but I would definitely suggest that. I used these 3 buttons for the snowman's buttons on the front of the jar, and these tags will be a printable in the description box, and I have you 4 options here. Some of my best friends are flakes. I saw that on Joanna's channel. Her channel name is Joanna's DIY Life. She had put this saying on something. I'm not remembering what it was now, but it said some of my best friends are flakes, and that made me chuckle. So I have that on there. There's also some people are worth melting for, basic to and from, and I solemnly swear that I am up to snow good. Of course, you don't have to use those tags just for this project. You could just simply print them and use them for gifts as well. Don't forget to go check out that playlist. The playlist link will be in the description box, as well as the host channel links. I do want to thank Brenda and Kathy Jo for hosting and letting me co-host. They host this every month, and it's a lot of fun for those that participate, as well as for those of us watching. You definitely want to go check out the playlist and see what everyone came up with using these challenge items. The ladies that participate in this are amazing crafters as well as amazing people. But that's it for this one. I hope you all have a wonderful day. See you in the next one.